Their Heartswarming by Thunderchasercreate. Chapter 1, only chapter. Their Heartswarming. The snow fell softly, the tiny flurries fluttering through the air to rest gently on anything still enough. The cold air froze our noses and ears, turning them odd colors as we moved toward the snowfall. Adults trotted quickly, huddled in coats with their muzzles tucked into the scarves. Foals, however, enjoyed the snow for all it was worth, treating it like a miracle of the heavens, using the garments on snow ponies instead of for themselves. Some went up to the sky with their tongues out, skipping gleefully and hoping to catch a flake or two before their mouth dried out. Pinkie Pie, of course, took mostly the same approach as the fillies. She spent nearly the whole storm tucked away in an alley, hurling snowballs at unsuspecting, yet thrilled, passing foals. After she nearly froze Sweetbelle's tongue to a snowball, Rarity demanded that I drag her off to do something else, for the sake of the younger ponies. So, I took her out to help me pick a tree for the library.
Pinkie, cut it out!
I scolded her, after she had tossed another snowball at the young foal.
Why should I? Winter is the most splendorific, fantastic time of year. It's cold and fun outside and warm and yummy inside. I mean, really, what's better than this?
She explained, dragging her tongue through the snow on top of the carrots. I smiled inwardly. She was right. Who doesn't love a good snowfall?
Well, you can have your fun later, but the shop is going to close soon.
She sighed.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Twilight.
She brightened up.
That's great! I love picking out trees even more than I love having snowball fights!
Look, you could play tomorrow, but I'm going to need your energy to get the tree back to the library. Spike said so we get a big one to celebrate my first heartswarming as a princess. Plus, it's my first real heartswarming in Ponyville. I explained, watching with glee as Mr. and Mrs. Cake placed the gingerbread mansion in the front window.
Well, what about last year?
Pinkie asked, confused but still happy. Last year I was so busy with pageant rehearsals I didn't have time. Actually, this will be my first year even decorating a tree. I was mostly busy studying or something, so I let Spike do it.
All on his own? That's no fun!
Pinkie attested, practically drooling as we passed a coffee shop with the smell of cocoa wafting through the open door. He only ever brought small ones, spent to rest on gems. We don't even have many trimmings. I just tied some ribbons around some walnuts and pine cones. We'll have to decorate with those instead.
Oh!
Pinkie's face lit up when she spotted a pony dressed as a spirit of friendship, passing out candy canes. You haven't heard a word I said, have you? I muttered. Pinkie bounced excitedly at the back of the line, waiting impatiently as several other little fillies thanked the kind stallion for the candy. In return, the stallion bowed his head, and touching the shoulders of the foals with his fake antlers, and fluttering his large white wings. I scoffed, rolling my eyes and shuffling my hooves to keep warm. Pinkie graciously accepted the candy offering, although she earned an odd look from the stallion, and swallowed the treat in one loud gulp. You go, Pinkie! I'll be right there with you! I pulled the navy blue woolen scarf over my snout, allowing one final puff of fog to exit my mouth. Rarity had given me this scarf last year, and, while a little itchy, was still a really lovely thing. Pinkie appeared in front of me, licking her lips as she bounded off toward the tree market. I followed with swift steps, trying to avoid the piles of snow on the sidewalks.
Isn't the spirit just the most prettiest thing?
Pinkie exclaimed. I ignored her error.
Sure is.
You don't still believe in him, do you?
Pinkie spluttered. Well, duh! Of course I do. He's as real as you and me.
She gasped.
There it is.
Sure enough, the tree market had finally come into view. Thanks, Celestia. I can't wait to get home. I'm going to need a gallon of hot cocoa to warm me up, I muttered.
Oh, Twilight, look at this one. No, that one.
Pinkie Pie had become a whirlwind, zipping back and forth among the trees. The pink blur was showing signs of stopping, so I took the time to get a more casual look at the trees. All were full and thick, covered in plump needles that held the cold like coats against the heat. It was a wonderful sight, especially with the snow now dusting the tops of each branch.
Twilight! Hey, Twilight!
I whirled about, looking for the pony calling my name. A tiny little hoof poked out from behind a small family, waving enthusiastically.
Over here!
The family bustled off and revealed the familiar face of Apple Bloom, Applejack's younger sister. I smiled warmly, although Apple Bloom couldn't see it because of the scarf.
Hello.
What are you doing here? Are you here by yourself?
Nah, Big Mike's here too. I'm selling toys.
She proclaimed loudly, puffing out her chest. I chuckled, rubbing her red hair. Good for you. Where is Big Mac? For that matter, where's Hayseed? Doesn't he usually sell the trees?
He wanted to play Tyson, so we thought we'd take over for him.
Applebloom explained. Yup. Confirmed the recognizably deep voice of Big Mac. He stepped out of the maze of trees, giving me a large wave as he made a change for a couple. His usual yoke had been replaced by a canvas apron with a large pocket. It jingled with each step, leading me to believe it was full of bits.
Hi!
I greeted him. He nodded. I was just going to say how nice it was of you two to let Hayseed get his vacation time. Yup. Are you getting paid much? Nope. Applebloom stepped in.
We all get 10% apparently. I mean, they are his trees.
I frowned. That seems kind of fun.
Oh my gosh!
I whispered in a loud voice.
Twilight! Come here! Come here! Come here! Come here! Come here!
Applebloom's face brightened.
Play boss here with you? Well, why don't you say so?
She ran off, her tiny legs working twice as fast as everybody else's to move the same distance. I sighed, still smiling under the scarf, and lurched after her. I threw a melodramatic wave back at Big Mac, who only grinned in response. Not that I expected much else. He talked less than Fluttershy. Piggy stood near the back of the lot, swaying slightly back and forth as he tried to contain her excitement. The tree before her stood 3 times as tall as the others. Its needles were bright, minty green, and were bunched in tight groups that almost looked like flower buds. The trunk was about as thick as a lamppost, and it was covered by bark in a deep brown color that reminded me of hot chocolate. It's really nice, Pinky, but I'm not sure it'll fit through the door, I murmured, in awe at the sheer size of the tree. Pinky stuck out her bottom lip in a small pout, but her face brightened up in a matter of seconds.
You could use your magic! Oh, please! Please, Twilight, please!
She pronounced her last please with about 1,000 letters. It isn't even for you. It's the library, I explained. Pinky's eyes grew wide. But I suppose you want my heartwarming to be extra special.
Uh-huh.
And you will be over to exchange gifts, I reasoned.
Took the words straight out of my mouth.
Pinky agreed. I guess so. Pinky squealed, her voice reaching about its high frequency. I'm pretty sure it was painful for dogs. How much is it anyway? I wondered aloud, digging through the prickly needles for the orange tag that fluttered on the other trees. Finally, the fluorescent color caught my eye, and I snatched the tag with my magic before it could disappear again. 50 bits! I exclaimed, sticker shock setting in.
Aw, that means Big Mac and Applebloom only get 5. That's super greedy!
Pinky complained. 50? I stuttered, unable to form a coherent sentence. I wasn't sure I brought that much.
Oh.
Applebloom seemed to be panicking.
Where's the voice for it?
She blurted, rushing to her sides.
It's supposed to be 5.
5? That doesn't seem right. I looked back at the tree, trying to figure out how such a beautiful tree could only be worth 5 bits. Once cost 5 bits, not years of care and attention.
It sure is. This type of tree is what do you call it when no pony can be allergic to something?
Hypoallergenic? I insisted.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the exact opposite of 5.
Applebloom explained nonsensically. Is that even possible? I asked.
Okay, so, when I lie to you.
I don't know, I murmured. Pinky continued to stare at the tree, possibly imagining what it would be like covered in ornaments. Well, if you're sure. I shoveled 5 bits out of my saddlebag and passed them to Applebloom. She took them gracefully, running out to find her brother.
Thanks a lot! I tell you, tree! Happy housewarming!
She yelled in one breath. You too. I guess. I mumbled, looking at the tree. I hung my head, the size finally computing. Oh, great. About 1 hour, 3 rest drops, and 1 emergency hot chocolate later. You're making me thirsty, Vic. The tree had finally made it inside the library. I used my magic to remove the centerpiece from the main room and into my bedroom. Pinky was still bouncing around. I wouldn't rule out a secret stash of candy in Super Cute Corner. I had to trim the trunk to get it to fit in the tree stand, and even then it was a tight fit. Pinky offered no help, but instead stole near a bowl of ginger snaps that seemed to be rapidly disappearing. Hey, Pinky, Do you think Applewood was acting weird? I finally brought out the odd subject. Piggy tried to reply, but her mouth was muffled by cookies. Swallow, I demanded with the firmness of a mother, still trying to wrestle the tree into a stand. Piggy gulped loudly.
I didn't notice anything.
Really? Are you sure? I asked, panting with frustration. The apples
Always get like this around high swarming.
I could hear more cookies leaving the crystal bowl. Mm-hmm. And what is this? Exactly. I pushed, trying to get a straight answer out of Pinky. She just shrugged.
Just weird.
She didn't notice me for the first time.
Hey, do you need my help?
I cussed my teeth. No, thank you.
Just go on, eat my cookies. It's fine.
I gave one last shove, and the tree finally snapped into place.
Aha!
Piggy's rapid crunching stopped, and a smile spread slowly across her face.
Ornaments?
Not yet, I told her. I want all the girls to help out. Rarity loves making these popcorn strings, after all. I remembered, thinking back to last year when she insisted coming over at this trimming for the Canterlot City tree.
Ooh, we can make pretty invitations with candy canes inside, and then we can make like a gallon of cocoa, and we can sing all night and have a secret spirit.
She rambled, bouncing about the room. Oh, what's that? I asked.
Well, it's like these red and white sticks that...
She started to explain. No. What's a secret spirit? I asked again, this time more specific. Piggy's bounces slowly grew much higher.
Oh my gosh! You've never heard of a secret spirit before? It's only the most funnest, heartwarming tradition ever! Every pony puts their name in a hat, and then we all pick a name, and we have to get that pony a present. But it's a big secret, and you absolutely cannot tell whose name you picked until Heartwarming Day. Then every pony gets together and exchanges their gifts.
She explained, very quickly I might add. Sounds interesting, I commented, fooling with the persistence of the tree. It wasn't quite in the center of the room.
Of course! It'll be your first time. That is so exciting!
I suppose. Now the tree leaning to the bit of the left. Piggy had become more or less background noise to me.
Well, you have to make sure that every pony knows what you want. You have to advertise, or at least make some kind of list. Ooh, is that gingerbread?
Piggy tried it off. Will that be a little obnoxious? I asked, although it was probably a foreign concept to Pinky. The tip of the tree just didn't want to be straight.
Nah, everybody does it. Just drop little hints. Bring up a certain subject like a lot. I mean, all I want for Hearthswarming is 24-hour kitchen privileges, so I've been doing a lot of cooking. I sure hope the cakes can figure it out, she said tearfully, taking a large bite out of the gingerbread I had made. I finally got the tip in exactly the right position. The tree was perfectly vertical, and it looked beautiful in the library. There! It's perfect! Ornaments!
Was the only thing Pinky could say. I thought we should wait until tomorrow, I told her, using a complex spell to keep the tree's trunk immobile. No pony would be able to mess it up now. Not even Rainbow Dash.
Oh, what fun is that? We can stay up late, eat cookies, eat gingerbread. Well, we can eat!
Piggy exclaimed. I laughed. Let's just wait. I can make more treats tomorrow. You can help if you want, I suggested, looking at the crystal bowl. Only a few brown crumbs remained in the barry. Piggy grinned sheepishly.
Sorry.
No harm done. Piggy was quiet for a few seconds.
Oh, but I can't wait,
she whined, swaying to and fro.
I'll just get the girls and they all can help cook.
I shuddered, violently calling after her, Piggy! No! But she already galloped a good ways down the street. I sighed, taking a look at the clock. It wasn't too late, only about 5:30. Plus, the girls always loved hanging out. I'm sure it wouldn't be any trouble. Of course, Pinky could turn almost any situation into a great big hassle. Then again, this was a special occasion. I'm sure every pony would be happy to join Pinky and I. Maybe I can even talk to Applejack about her sister.
Okay, every pony, time for the secret spirit time!
Pinky trotted out from behind a tree, holding up a top hat filled with papers.
Twilight first!
I looked at the hat, staring at the 6 pieces of paper that sat at the bottom of the silken accessory. I closed my eyes, reaching in as though I were bombing for apples. My teeth closed around the torn edge of the sheet from notebook paper. I pulled my snout out of the hat, using my magic to read the name on the paper. Applejack. I smiled, tugging the paper away.
Rarity, you're up, girl!
Pinky moved in, holding the hat out to Rarity. She set down her mile-long popcorn string and yanked the paper out of the hat. She giggled at the name, sticking on the table beside her. Rainbow was next, followed by Fluttershy and AJ. Applejack looked almost concerned as she read her paper, and stuck it quickly under her hat, before continuing to prune the tree's extremities. Finally, Pinkie pulled the last name out, smiling and squealing with joy as she thought about what to get for her pony.
Okay, everybody, we have a week to organize our gifts. Back to partying!
Pinkie gave my record player a swift kick, and the needle fell. Bouncy holiday music starting up once more. She proceeded to dash back to the kitchen, pulling her gingerbread muffins out of the oven just before they were burned to a crisp. I made my way over to Applejack. She just set down her shears and made herself comfortable in a recliner near the fire. Her hat was pulled down over her eyes, and she seemed to be trying to take a nap. I sat down next to her in her messing chair, holding my hose out to be warmed by the flame. Hey, Twilight. Applejack greeted me, pushing her hat back up to her forehead. You're tired already? It isn't even 7. I told her with a quick nod toward the clock. Really? Gosh, I'm just so tired, she mumbled. Well, Pinkie probably has some circular concoction that'll wake you up. I gave her a gentle nudge with my elbow. Applejack yawned, rubbing her eyes with her hoof. All sounds good. I watched her. She didn't even seem to be making any move to get up. Applejack? Yeah, was it? Oh, sad. She stretched, rolling out the chair and onto her hooves. You don't look so good. What's wrong? She shrugged. Just tired. No, I mean, well, Apple Bloom was acting weird, and now you're acting weird. What's going on with you two? I asked her. I don't know what you mean. She must have been tired. Her accent grew thicker when she was tired out. I managed to haul her to the kitchen, where Pinkie swiftly and stealthily stuffed her full of sweets. Applejack seemed to be perking up when there was a knock on the door. Can somebody get that? I yelled. Any pony? There was no response. I got it. I walked to the door and threw it open. Oh, it's you guys. Come on in. Big Mac and Apple Bloom shivered, wiping their hose respectively on the welcome mat, but refraining from stepping over the threshold.
Applejack?
Apple Bloom called, her teeth still chattering.
Applejack?
I'm a coming. Applejack muttered, stumbling forth from the kitchen. She made her way over to Big Mac, who whispered something to her ear. Applejack sighed. Bye, y'all. Looks like I got paid enough. Have fun for me, alright? She announced, smiling bravely.
What's wrong, dear? Everything all right at home?
Rarity asked politely. Yeah, what gives, AJ? Rainbow added. The farm pony sighed deeply. It's no trouble. Don't you all worry yourselves with it. Really. See ya tomorrow?
Of course,
Fireside whispered.
Sure thing, AJ.
Pinkie agreed. Applejack looked instantly relieved. Thanks. She stepped outside, looking very ill between her sibling. Oh, and happy Hearthwarming! Happy Hearthwarming! We shouted back. The door closed. Rarity's face immediately turned serious.
Okay. Well, thanks, Applejack, is telling us everything.
We all nodded in agreement. We had a long discussion, leading us nowhere but in endless circles, but still bringing up plenty of unpleasant possibilities. We finally disbanded a few hours later, feeling sick with worry about the Apple family. I knew for sure that 5 sleepless nights were to come. I climbed slowly into bed, pulling the covers up to my chin. I could hear Spike snoring softly under his own blanket. At least one of us remained exactly the same. I laid awake for some time, watching the stars appear and twinkle through the wispy clouds, purple with the evening light. Something's wrong with the apples, I kept thinking. But what is it? What could possibly be wrong? I felt something was slithering around my stomach, cold and slimy. I immediately kicked Discord out of the bed. I'm not sure when I fell asleep, but I woke baggy-eyed around 5 in the morning. I sat up, stretching, nursing the various bed sores as I gazed out the window. The snow was so beautiful, only last night was now gray and lumped up in unappealing piles by the side of the road. It was amazing how quickly we could suck all the beauty out of something sometimes. Not 2 minutes after I had become conscious, there was a pounding at my door. I say pounding because that's the way it seemed barely alive to me. What it really was knocking. I say knocking. I meant gentle tapping, not much longer than the clock ticking. I growled to myself, stalking down the stairs and opening the door. Before me stood Fluttershy, her already huge eyes looking wider with shock.
Oh, Twilight, I'm sorry. Did I wake you?
I sighed. No, it's fine. What's the matter? Fluttershy's shock turned to sadness.
Oh, Twilight, it's awful!
She told me, wandering inside and throwing herself into a chair. Knowing her tendency to exaggerate, I gave her a few pats on the head and went to get her a mug of cocoa.
Wait, don't leave me.
She cried desperately.
Please, listen to me. It's horrible. It's tragic.
She tossed her hose in the air, waving them dramatically. I rolled my eyes and sat back down.
Okay, so last night, Angel?
Before she could even finish her sentence, the door was flung open. It let loose in a cold burst of air, and I rushed through to the closet. Standing on the stoop were my other friends, minus Applejack, all looking worried. Oh, jeez. What is it? I asked, already guessing what this is all about. The three ponies rushed into the room, shouting things at me urgently. The only words I could catch were apples, heartwarming, and no money. I stood there, just trying to get a word edgewise, becoming more and more agitated until I screamed, "Shut up!" There was immediate silence, except for Pinky. She was still saying something about flashing lights, but no pony was really listening. Now, one at a time. What is the matter? I said sternly.
Well, I couldn't sleep last night.
Neither could I, so I went up for a fly.
I went for a walk, Pinky added. I sort of showed up at Applejack's farm, and it was undecorated. Not a single colored light or fake icicles light,
Rarity explained.
though I was rather despise those things. Look up tacky in the dictionary, she added herself. Then, Pinky continued dramatically, the lights came on and there was
no tree! They all shouted, including Fluttershy. Wait. You spied on the apples? I realized. All of you? A shade nods came from the ponies. Are you serious? Do you respect their piracy at all? I demanded. There was a silence for a few seconds. Well, that wasn't the most important part, Rainbow Dash told me matter-of-factly. Well, what was? I prompted her. I flew up and sat on the roof. I heard them talking. Apparently, crop season ends too early for them to get money for heartwarming stuff. So they don't celebrate. I heard something about family pride, but I had to leave after that. I looked at the ponies, wondering what I could say to stave them off. Okay, was all that would come out.
We have to do something,
Pinky said, bouncing in place. This is a private thing, I told her. We can't just leap in and expect the apples to be okay with it. Let them do what they normally do. They don't have to. Then I remembered something. The secret spirit. What? The secret spirit. She's going to feel obligated to help, and I groaned. Oh, Celestia, how in Equestria can things get screwed up so fast? I hung my head, sulking out the kitchen to make myself a mug of cocoa. Anybody else need chocolate to cure their heads?
Yes, please, if it isn't too much trouble,
Fluttershy murmured. Sure thing. I filled the kettle up with water and lit the stove top.
Well, we could call it off, so you never have to know,
Rarity suggested. Oh, yeah? And what are we going to tell her when she asks why? That we all decided it was okay to spy on her and spare her feelings? That we all know money's tight and even though her life sucks, it's no reason to celebrate heartwarming with our friends? I babbled, slamming the kettle down on the stove. Fluttershy whimpered. I mean, we all know that the apples have this obsession with pride. We can't waltz in and tell her that we violated her privacy and obliterated whatever pride she has left. The ponies were silent. Right?
I thought that was exactly what we should do,
Rarity said softly.
Look, we know she won't take it well, but she'll take it if it comes from us first. Housewarming is important, and eventually somebody will call them out on it. I think it ought to be us.
I could hear the key cows start to whistle.
I'll get it!
Pinky pushed past me, all of her holiday spirit gone. She lifted the kettle out of the stove and poured the steaming liquid into 6 mugs. I sighed. Every pony expected me to make the decision here, when, in reality, I was the least qualified to take control. Okay, look. For now, let's pretend nothing happened. Let's make sure that she, as well as Appleblossom and Big Mac, are included, and we'll work the rest out later. There was a collective sound of approval. Thanks, Celestia. I looked at the 6 mugs with my magic. Coco? 2 nights later, on Heartwarming Eve, I invited every pony over once again to stay up late and watch for the spirit of friendship. Needless to say, this part was mostly for the fillies. Although, Pinkie Pie joined in heartily. You know,
You know, I've been trying to see the spirits since I was your age. Did this every year, Piggy explained, and I always fell asleep. But this year, I'm prepared.
She gestured to the coffee table, which was covered in various sugary snacks and 3 pots of coffee. Yeah, don't see that happening, I told her. The last thing you need tonight is caffeine.
Oh, quit being such a party pooper, Piggy explained.
I rolled my eyes, but didn't retort. How are you girls? I asked the fillies.
Awesome,
Scooter replied.
well, this is perfect. Thanks, Twa,
Apple Bloom told me. Sweet Belle nodded enthusiastically. I smiled warmly. Anytime. Let me know if you girls need anything.
Thank you,
The 3 of them shouted, and then went back to singing carols. Rarity was fooling endlessly with various aspects of the tree. To her, there always seemed to be one ornament needle or branch out of place. Rarity! I hissed. She told back, Oh! Leave the tree alone. It looks fine. She blushed. Oh, of course. Sorry. It's fine. Just don't go quite so crazy. Appreciate its imperfections. I told her, giving her a cinnamon bun. Eat this. It'll calm you down.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. The next pony I saw was Rainbow. She was flying up near the ceiling hanging with more decorations. Hey! Rainbow! I shouted out to her. She floated down to me. What's up? My backyard still has like 3 feet or so. Take the fillies out to play, I suggested. What about Pinky? She counts as a filly. Go ahead. They love you. I gave her a friendly punch on the shoulder. She grinned. Yeah, I guess I could do that. She flew over to the 4 ponies. Hey! Who wants to build snow ponies out back?
Me!
Me! All 4 screamed, running out to fetch hats and scarves before heading out back. Applejack! I spotted the farm pony from across the room and tried toward her. She was chatting in hushed tones with her brother, but she stopped to greet me. Oh, hey, Twa! This is some great party, she told me. Oh, thanks. Do you want any snacks? Chocolates? Orange? I offered, pointing to the coffee table. She stared for a second. Oh, nah, better not. I made the food to be eaten, Applejack, not stared at it. Go on! I thumped her on the back. Big Mac, come on! Can't I tempt you with a gingerbread man? Nope. Really? Yeah, he said softly, after a moment of thought. I shrugged. Okay. Fluttershy was sitting on a small love seat, feeding her rabbit Angel small pieces of sugar cubie. Psst! I hissed, sitting beside her.
Oh, Twilight, you startled me.
Angel mined boredom. Applejack and Big Mac won't eat anything, I told her. This is worse than I thought. Fluttershy was gently twirling her hair.
Why are you talking to me about it? I don't think I...
Because you'll listen, I told her. She jumped, backing away. Sorry. What do you think I should do? Fluttershy sighed.
Well, if you're really asking me, I say it doesn't matter until it's tomorrow.
No. I mean, I have to figure out what she wants for Hearthwarming. And by extension, I have to figure out what Apple Bloom, Big Mac, and Granny Smith want. I looked back at them, watching as Big Mac earnestly eyed a plate of sugar cookies. I turned back to Fluttershy. Look, you and I both know that the only thing that'll cure them of this weirdness around us is a little heartwarming spirit. I mean, Apple Bloom probably doesn't even believe in the spirit of friendship.
That is pretty awful.
Fluttershy resumed twirling her hair. Well, I think I can bring the holiday spirit back to the apples, I said rather pompously. Maybe.
Oh, I hope so, Twilight.
I stood up, trotting over to the apples once again. Okay, both of you, outside! Applejack stared at me, then looked at Big Mac, then back to me. What? First I agree that you aren't having enough fun, I told them both. So, we're going to have a snowball fight. Now, that kind of seems immature, Applejack muttered. Yup. I rolled my eyes, turning away. I wasn't giving up yet, though. I whistled loudly and shrilly through my teeth. Every pony stopping what they were doing and looking over at me. Every pony outside for an epic snowball fight! I cried. Fluttershy cheered softly. Rarity groaned but agreed, and Spike snored loudly in his sleep. I'll suppose. Applejack relented. Big Mac sniffed. Great! Every pony head out! We'll split into teams! I announced, grabbing my boots and scarf as I made for the back door. I crouched behind a short wall of snow, a stack of freezing snowballs under my stomach. I could feel the top one clinging to my fur as each of the 2 teams whispered to each other about strategy and tense excitement. Even Applejack and her brother were grinning now, preparing to unleash a snow of frozen fury upon the other ponies. I smiled, knowing that I had finally succeeded in drying them out of their shells. I could just see Pinky's hair peeking out from behind the wall across from us, and it bounced about gleefully as he prepared for battle. I straightened up a bit, making sure that all 4 ponies were watching me. 1, I mouthed. 2, 3! And away they flew. I let snowballs faster than I believed possible. Magenta-tinted spears whipping past my head at amazing speed. Despite the seriousness I'm telling this, most of us were doubled over in laughter. We weren't sure who won. I mean, does any pony ever win in a snowball fight? But the apples were happier than I had seen them in the past week, and that was worth it no matter what. Pinkie Pie kept insisting that he had hit Rarity right in the face, but Rarity respectfully disagreed as he carefully pulled chunks of snow from her still gorgeous hair. Applejack and Big Mac had fired 2 many snowballs to count, getting off a few seconds with their bucking muscles, as they so put.
I can't believe I just participated in such a crude sport,
Rarity said snootily, loving her mate to perfection. Well, you did, I muttered, making a pass at Coco.
Yeah, Pinky agreed. And was it just the best time of your life?
Rarity pretended to think about it, but her smile gave her thoughts away. Fluttershy was severely filing the couch, swallowing the blanket so only her eyes were visible. Rainbow Dash leaned over and rubbed her shoulder to warm her up.
You all right, champ?
Cold, was the only response. Don't worry, Coco's on the way, I called back to her. Hey, what time is it?
The clock says 9, Twi.
Rainbow replied, slipping into the kitchen. Why? I sighed. It's about time to send the Crusaders home. Would you mind taking Scootaloo?
Nah, I'll go.
Rainbow was about to leave when she was interrupted by one of Pinky's overdramatic gasps.
Oh my gosh! She screamed. It's 9 o'clock! The spirit comes at 9:45. She screamed. Girls, we gotta get you home. If the spirit sees a house without children, you'll pass it by!
I stuck my head out the doorway, watching the fillies rush to grab their things and lined up by the door. The older ponies were smiling and gathering their own things, though not as hastily as the younger ones. Applejack was looking worried, probably wondering how she explained the spirit wasn't even real. Pinky ushered the ponies out the door, waiting until they were outside to blurt,
I know what they want.
But what? I asked, confused.
I know what they want for heartwarming,
Pinky explained, cheerful yet impatient.
I got Apple to tell me. She said that she wanted a sled, and all that Applejack asked for was financial assurance, whatever that means.
I sighed. Well, the sled I can handle, but... I flunked down in a chair, rubbing my temples. Oh, Celestia. This'll be harder than I thought.
Well, I should get home. Gotta be in bed, asleep in 45 minutes. See ya!
Pinky chopping heavily out the door, wrapped up in a cozy long scarf, a stocking cap with a usually large pom-pom.
I should probably go home too. The animals stuff.
Fireside mumbled. Huh? Oh yeah, alright. I murmured, pulled out a deep thought. Fireside left as he does all things, quietly, and left me with only Spice snoring to keep me company. I stared at the tree for a long time, wondering what I could possibly do for the apples. After an hour or two, I fell asleep. The frigid air woke me before the sun. There was this feeling that hung above me, like the whole town was holding its breath. The young ponies were just waking up, crying to their parents and shaking them awake. Lone adults were still fast asleep, but soon would be with their extended families in hectic celebration. Most were wondering if it was really okay to believe in something as silly and childish as the spirit of friendship. Eventually, the sun came in through the windows, the harsh light bouncing out the tinsel on the tree. What did about the room? By this light, I could spot a once empty space under the tree that was now filled by an awkward and bulky shape. Tried down the stairs, coming down to a halt and bending down to fish under about the branches. Came out 3 very strange-looking packages, all shapes, but wrapped perfectly and topped with magnificent bows. I wasted no time in pulling apart the first one. A sled! Not the latest and greatest, but a humble wooden one with a steering mechanism. I set aside. The next was a small one, a rather flat package with a bump in the center. I carefully tore away the paper, revealing a scroll and a new quill. The scroll was blank. An odd gift, to be sure, especially for a pony like me, who owned a lifetime supply of the same items. Available at Davenport's Quills and Sofas. Ding! I rolled my eyes, laying them on top of the sled. final package was a small note taped to it. All that was written on it was a remedial spell, used to change the color of an item. I sighed, removing the paper from this package too, finding a cheap set of reindeer antlers that ponies wear to heartwarming parties. As I was about to go back upstairs and fall asleep once more, I remembered something. All Apple Bloom wanted for heartwarming was a sled. That was all. I rubbed my chin with my hoof. Financial assurance, I muttered, remembering Applejack's wish as well. I dashed back up the stairs, sitting at my desk and starting to write a letter. I tried many times to write the perfect letter, but the words simply wouldn't come. There was something waiting under that tree for that, too. I snatched the scroll and quill, scribbling down just the right phrases, just the right tone to tell the apples exactly what they needed to hear. The best part was, I didn't even have to come for me. All I had to say was this: they're here for you, Applejack. Trust them. I rolled up the parchment, tying it with the same ribbon the packets had been wrapped with. I glanced at the antlers in the spell, a crazy idea forming. Before I knew what I was doing, the words on the page were pouring out of me, and my soft lavender coat, as well as my mane and tail, were turning a flawless white. I hooked the clasp on my antlers under my chin, and snatching the sled and scroll as I flew out the door. The cold barely seemed to affect me as I galloped full speed across the street. I could hear the sled clunking behind me, my hoofbeats softened by the snow. Over the hills and down a small path lay Sweet Apple Acres. Beyond the tree was the dark home of the apples. I was now moving even faster, my wings coming away from my sides, and I felt like I was flying, though my toes were still touching the ground. I opened the door, searching the room for the tree. But there isn't a tree, I remembered. They don't have a tree! I started to panic. What kind of celebration would this be without a tree? I stuck my head outside, looking around for no particular reason. Come on, Twilight. Pine trees don't just spring up, I thought to myself, stepping out of the house. And I can't just stick them under any old apple tree. I looked around, trying to find a tree with definition. Then saw a twinkle off in the distance. I made my way toward it, bobbing and weaving through the apple trees, and finally finding the perfect one. There was a purple flame flickering on the top, and the whole tree was draped lovely, hoof-made decorations. I stood a minute or two, staring at it all, when I spotted the note on the trunk, flapping in the breeze. Dear Twilight, we decorated the tree with things we found under our own.
According, according to the notes we received, you should be looking for a place to put your gifts. Don't ask us where we got them. They were there when we woke up.
Your friends. I smiled, tucking the gifts under the tree. There were several other things under there, including presents for Granny Smith and Big Mac. I went back to the house, tapping on Apple Bloom's window to be sure she was awake. As soon as I saw her sit up, I ran for it, twining my way back through the trees and creating a small path for the filly to follow. I stopped a minute to look at the tree once more, thinking about how much a simple expression of friendship could bring so much joy. I was starting to hear the wheezing breaths of Apple Bloom as he rushed through the snow to catch up, but I wasn't going to spoil the surprise. I took off, wobbling through the sky in the direction of the library. That night, Applejack told us everything. She explained that how there was no way for them to make money months after Nightmare Night, and how the family had insisted on keeping it a secret. She also told us about the miracles that occurred on Sweet Apple Acres, and about the very real fire of friendship that burned at the top of that apple tree. To this day, many years later, Apple Bloom will still insist he saw the spirit of friendship. She has grown up believing that it exists, relying on what she had saw that heartwarming so long ago. And she believes with all of her heart. So do all of us. The end. Well, what can I say? Once again, Christmas, and indeed, a really good pony fic. Help us remind us all the season's about. Friends, family, love. This is the second time I read a fanfic where we're reminded just how close this group has become. How much they cared and loved for each other. How, despite some of the radical changes that happens in some of their lives, they are staying together. And they will always be together. I loved each of the characters. Everybody was perfectly in character. I was thinking about the comment about Fluttershy's overreactions, but then I remembered some of her emotions during certain episodes. So yes, he could overreact. Piggy Pie was beautifully done, and I don't get to say, and I don't say this often enough, but this is one of those times it does feel like a good episode. One of those episodes that would probably leave us all teary-eyed. And I know that some people could probably say, oh, but Applejack's farm is so large, how can it be so costly? To which I say, hey, even some of the largest farms have problems during the winter because profits don't come in year round. Sometimes they can mess up badly. Bad crop. Heck, considering the fact that apples are a seasonal thing, they do need to know how to diversify. And I can imagine winter would be kind of hard for them to do it. Makes perfect sense for me. Maybe it's because I live in a farming community. Okay, granted, I live in a small town next to a farming community, but I live next to a bunch of farms. Overall, a nice, sweet story. And Cadence, have you finally found your story yet?
Yep. Uh, Audience, I would like to apologize for the trailer of last episode. Um, I couldn't find the book, and martial art for years there helped me search all over the place.
Helped you search, Cadence? Shining Armor was helping you search, and furthermore, you two weren't searching, you were making out!
Yeah, we kind of were.
But anyway, next time, for real, we'll do Twilight Tells Cadence. Cadence Tells Twilight, a heartwarming bedtime story. I'll see you then.